السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
الحمد لله رب العالمين. الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا، من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له، ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، ونشهد أن سيدنا حبيبنا محمدا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا. أما بعد, our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has reportedly said, this is a hadith narrated by Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As radiyallahu anhu, who said, there are four characteristics that constitute anyone who possesses any of them would be a munafiq or a hypocrite. If one of them is present in their life, then that's a characteristic of a munafiq in their life, and they will remain a munafiq until they abandon it. Number one, when they talk, they lie. When they make promises, they violate them. When they make covenants, they act treacherously. And when they quarrel, when they argue, when they dispute, they become abusive in their behavior. They behave foolishly. Four characteristics of a hypocrite outlined by Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In another hadith, he describes three. 3 plus 4 is not 7, they're same, but one extra. When they speak, they lie. When they make promises, they break. When you trust something with them, or you give them a covenant, they behave treacherously. And the fourth one is, when they argue, when they quarrel, they become abusive. My brothers and sisters, the reason why I chose this is because I look around and I see Muslims constantly complaining about double standard around the world. America didn't do this, Britain didn't do that, they didn't do this. We're constantly complaining about everybody else in the world as having double standard. But we don't stop and measure our own double standards that we do on a daily basis, that prevails in our day-to-day character. Rasulullah has described these double standards as signs of hypocrisy. If they exist in any one of us, we are a complete hypocrite. If one of them exists in any one of us, we have become partly hypocrite, and we remain partly hypocrite until we abandon such a trait. They're quite mundane, as you and I can see in the examples given, but they do have a profound impact on our relationship. Muslims are too quick to judge each other about hypocrisy, but they don't judge themselves. So today's khutbah is not for you to judge others. Today's khutbah is not for me to judge you. Today's khutbah is for myself to judge myself, and for you to think about your own character and your own behavior. Something very funny happened to me not that long ago. A person insisted on talking to me and set me down, and the opening statement was, since you are here to pray in Jama'ah, you can't be a hypocrite. I'll talk to you. I found it baffling, astonishing that such a statement could come out of a Muslim's mouth, that I was already being judged by somebody whether I'm a hypocrite or not a hypocrite. My brothers and sisters, that profanity, calling somebody a hypocrite, is not only a crime. If you're not a hypocrite in the eyes of Allah, the one who's accusing you of hypocrisy will be termed as a hypocrite in the eyes of Allah. So you should be afraid of calling anyone a hypocrite. So I don't want you to go around judging people about their hypocrisy. I want you to take a measure of your own self and see if any of these apply to your life, if any of these apply to my life. And I should be the first one to stand up in front of Allah and ask Allah to forgive me and try and remedy my character and become better. At the time of Rasulullah, Prophet ﷺ had left a list of a hypocrite with one companion, and he told him, never disclose this list to anybody else. Don't tell anyone else about who is on this list. And Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu came to this man and said, please, can you confirm if I'm on the list? Allahu Akbar. Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu, the man who was known as, according to many of the traditions, that one of the greatest companions to have ever lived, the man who inherited the leadership of the ummah and expanded the ummah's leadership and influence across the globe, the man who instituted amazing qualities in governance, in government, in public office. He was worried if he was a hypocrite often. It is said that Umar al-Khattab would walk around mumbling every now and again. And people used to say, Ya Umar, what are you mumbling about? He used to say, if only Umar did not exist. If only Umar did not have to account for himself on the day of judgment. If only Umar can be sure that he is not a hypocrite. My brothers and sisters, I don't want you to think about somebody else as a hypocrite. No, I want you to think about yourself to see if any of the traits apply to you. Number one, do you speak and do you lie? Whenever you say something, how often do you lie? My brothers and sisters, lying is known as the mother of all evil. You lie once, you need to lie 70 more times, as they say, to cover up your first lie. And do you know, my brothers and sisters, eventually you will get caught with your lies. Lies will catch you up eventually. Especially if you lie to your wife, she can smell it. Brothers, be careful. The wives can smell a lie. Allah has given them that sixth sense that men don't have. Alhamdulillah, that's how Allah protects families. Don't lie, brothers and sisters, don't lie. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Telling the truth about yourself, not telling the truth about somebody else. You don't have to go and say to somebody you're ugly. That's not the truth I want you to talk about. That's being silly. Tell the truth about yourself. Don't lie about yourself. Don't lie about your actions. Don't lie about things that you do in life. Be truthful, be honest, be transparent about things that are supposed to be transparent about. Wallahi, my brothers and sisters, lying is mother of all evil. And those who speak and lie often, one of the traits of a liar is they always say, Wallahi, 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 Uqsim Billah, before they even open their mouth. They take oath in the name of Allah. Don't trust a man or a woman who makes an oath every time they open their mouth. Why do they need to constantly reaffirm that they're telling you the truth if they're not worried about lying? Why are you constantly saying Uqsim Billah? Why? Uqsim billah is when you have to, and it is essentially needed. It is like you're in the court, but in your day-to-day living, you tell the truth. You should be known as a man who tells the truth. Rasulullah was known as the truthful, al-amin and al-sadiq, even by his enemies. They left him all their belongings, and Rasulullah was called al-amin and al-sadiq, the truthful and the trustworthy, walking whenever he walked the streets of Mecca. Even though they disliked his message, they loved the characteristics of Rasulullah. Before he became the Prophet, they gave him a title, al-amin and al-sadiq. You and I need to emulate the Prophet of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Become the truthful person, not the lying person, not the cheating person, not the squandering person, not the deceptive person, the truthful person, truthful in everything that we do. One of the signs of a liar is that they try and conceal everything that they have, even that which is supposed to be apparent. Why are you concealing everything? Why are you hiding? I said to my children, if you are working on your computer, and if I'm passing by, and you flick the screen and switch it over, you're doing something dodgy, my children. If you're sitting down in front of your computer, playing with your phone, and if I see what you're doing on your phone or your computer, you'll be embarrassed about it. Then you are doing something dodgy, you're lying, you're cheating, you're being deceitful. Don't ever lead a lie of deceit, because you will be caught up. And when you'll be caught up, you'll be humiliated. So first signs of hypocrisy is that they lie when they speak. Number two, my brothers and sisters, Rasulullah has said it so profoundly. When they make a promise, they violate their promises. They make promises, yes, very readily, but they break their promises very readily too. I'll be there at 7 o'clock. Never at 7 o'clock. Brother, I'm following the generous Muslim time. What do you mean by generous Muslim time? That's an insult to time. There is nothing called generous Muslim time. You're either abusing time or you're following time. Which one are you doing? If I am late for Jum'ah, if the khutbah is late, you're all getting agitated. If I stand to do salah late, Brother Tariq over there will raise his hand and he will say, stop. I know he will do that in a few minutes, inshallah. Why? Because we are mindful of our time. If the muadhin is late in giving adhan for iftar, you will declare jihad against muadhin straight away. But you are not truthful when it comes to your promises of time. When it comes to your weddings, you tell guests to turn up at 1 o'clock, you don't turn up till 3 o'clock. You say your event will start at 6 o'clock, it doesn't start until 8 o'clock. I was invited to an event the other day on Sunday. I was told to get to the event 5 o'clock sharp. So I moved everything around. And the brother called me up, he goes to me, don't come at 5 o'clock, come at 6 o'clock. I arrived at 6 o'clock, the event did not start until 8 o'clock. And I told them, why did you tell me to come at 5 o'clock first? Why did you advertise 5 o'clock? And all of you who have turned up late, why have you turned up at 8 o'clock thinking it's okay? It's not okay. It's not fashionable. It is abusing Allah, because you're abusing time. And Allah is time, He says. So if you make a promise, I will pay my debt back on time, pay them on time. Can you lend me some money? I'll pay you tomorrow, pay them tomorrow. I'll cut the grasses. You tell your wife you'll cut the grasses, cut it tomorrow. I'll put the dustbins out, you put the dustbin out. I'll do the washing, do the washing. I'll do the shopping, do the shopping. Don't make a promise and break it. You may think it's only a small one, it's only a grass. No, eventually you'll be known in your wife's mind as a liar, because it's become a habit of yours that you don't keep your promises. Keep your promises, my brothers and sisters. Rasulullah said, those who are hypocrites, they make promises and they break promises. They break promises. You can't keep a promise, don't make it. I'm really sorry, brother, I can't. Some Muslims often use inshallah to not make promises. Will you come to my house? Inshallah. Actually, they don't mean to be coming at all. Why are you abusing inshallah? Don't abuse inshallah. Inshallah should be given when you are sure. I will do my best to be there inshallah if Allah wills. I have made my will already. I have done my bit already. I will arrive at 6 o'clock inshallah, because I am doing everything to get there at 6 o'clock. But actually, I'm not even planning to leave until 7. I'm saying inshallah to you. My brothers and sisters, don't make promises that you can't break, that you can't keep and that you will break. Especially to your family, to your children. Young children note these very quickly. I remember one of my nieces, she was sitting at home, and my wife said to me, can you please put the rubbish out? To me. I said, sure, I'll do it in 1 minute inshallah. And this little girl, she was sitting there, I didn't know. In her head she was counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. She was counting up to 60 because she heard me saying to my wife, I'll do it in a minute. She was testing me. I didn't know she was doing this, but within my own instinct, within a minute I got up and I put the dustbin out. She went home and told her mom, uncle told his wife that he will put the dustbin out in a minute, and I was counting up to 60. You know what? He did it within 60, within the count. He did it within a minute. But my father doesn't keep his promise. She said it straight away. Children, mark your words, and they note you down. Keep your promises. If you don't keep your promises, don't make them, because you become a hypocrite. Whether it is a promise to do with your contract, whether it is to do with your supply, whether it is to do with your sale, whether it is to do a phone call, whether it is to do with an email, whether it is to do with pickup, whether it is to do with drop off, whatever promise you make, keep them. And if you can't keep the promise, don't make them. And if there is a problem, inform the other person. I'm really sorry, I can't be coming on time, I'm late. There is a bad habit of Muslims I've seen. Where are you, brother? I'm just around the corner. They haven't even left home. Why are you saying you're around the corner when you haven't even left home? You're making a promise. A whole family is waiting for dinner. Table is served with food. I'm around the corner. 20 minutes, half an hour later. How can you be around the corner if it's half an hour? You probably sit at home. Don't make a promise that you can't keep. Number 3, Rasulullah said, when they make a covenant, they act treacherously. They make a covenant, they make a contract, you give them something in trust, they act treacherously. You give them some wealth to look after, they destroy the wealth. You are left with inheritance, they usurp the inheritance. You are given a car to look after, they break the car, they don't look after it. You are now renting a house from somebody. Not only are you paying rent for that person's house, but you're also caretaker of this house. If you treacherously behave, destroy the house in that process. Rasulullah said, you have a trait of a munafiq inside you. You make a promise is one thing, but if somebody has given you a trust, wallahi, never break that trust. There is a hadith of Rasulullah, a story that Rasulullah narrates from the people of the past. About 3 people getting stuck in a cave when a rock fall, and they got stuck and they couldn't come out. I'm not going to tell you about all of them. One of the man who made dua saying, Ya Allah, I had a servant who was working for me. I had a worker who was working for me. After working for me, without claiming his wage, he left. He left and I couldn't find him. I kept his wage, I invested his wage, and his wage multiplied, became bigger and bigger. I kept it for him. He came many years later. When he came, I returned to him his original wage plus all the profit I've made from the investment. He turned around and he said, this is not mine, my wages was small, why is it so big? And I said to him, your wage was a trust with me. I was making investment on your behalf. It's grown. All of this is yours. Ya Allah, if I did this for you, please remove the rock. And the rock moved. My brothers and sisters, when you keep your promises, Allah will keep His. When you keep your contracts, when you keep your trust, Allah will keep His. And rocks will move. The earth will move. World will open up to you. But you become treacherous, your world will fall around you. World will close down around you. For treachery never pays off. Treachery never pays off. My brothers and sisters, 3 traits of a hypocrite I've discussed so far. Number 1, when they speak, they lie. Number 2, when they make a promise, they break a promise. Number 3, when they make a covenant, they're treacherous. They don't keep to their covenant. The 4th one, I'll talk about in the second half, inshallah. But my brothers and sisters, be mindful of the traits of a hypocrite. And be aware that you will be judged by Allah on the day of judgment by these traits. And this is not for you to judge others, but for your own self. We ask Allah to forgive us, enable us so that we don't become any of those hypocrites or any of the signs of hypocrisy comes in our lives. We ask Allah to enable us so that we can remain honest and steadfast. Wa akhir ad-da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. My dear brothers and sisters, Rasulullah talked about hypocrites and he gave 4 qualities. He said when they speak they lie, when they make promises they break, when they make covenants they act treacherously, and the 4th one is when they speak or when they quarrel, when they engage with you in disputes, they explode. They become abusive, they become foolish, they become irrational, they behave evil, they mean, and they use language that are foul. Any one of us could have been a victim of this by our own bad behavior or behavior of somebody else. Allah says in the Quran, when foolish people come to address you, ignorant and foolish people, وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا, when ignorant and foolish together address you, say salam and walk away. You know, brothers and sisters, I've encountered places where not only do the ignorant and the foolish want to address you, but they insist on you talking to them now. You're saying, Salaam alaikum, I really don't want to talk to you right now. No, we must talk right now. I received a phone call of a fool yesterday. Salaam alaikum, he said, wa alaikum assalam. I thought it was a nice salam to me. Immediately said to me, why is your beard so short? That was his address to me on the phone. What do you say? Salaam alaikum, and I put the phone down. Brothers and sisters, when ignorant, called jahil, foolish people, when they argue, they have a bad habit. They don't argue, they become abusive. They don't argue, they personalize the discussion. They call you names. What? They don't argue with you with rationale. They become irrational. They don't argue with you with good manners. They hurl foul language, swear words, abusive words in your direction. It's called sign of a hypocrite. If you suffer from this problem, and that is you can't talk to somebody you disagree with rationally, zip your mouth and walk away. It's better to walk away than have a sign of a hypocrite inside you. If you have an anger problem that you can't control your anger when you are disputing with people, when you disagree with people, zip your mouth and walk away. For you, it is better for you to zip your mouth and lash out of anger. It is better for you to go and take a cold shower than argue with your brother in an abusive manner. It is better for you to go and lie down somewhere quietly and contemplate on what's going on instead of hurling abuse at people. My brothers and sisters, signs of hypocrites are not in somebody else. They're in myself. They're in ourselves. And if we don't take account of ourselves, nobody else will. A Muslim does not have dhu wajhayn. They don't have two faces. One consistent face, one consistent character, one consistent behavior. They're honest, they're truthful, they're trustworthy, they talk, they have disagreements, they're well-mannered. That's a Muslim. They don't have two faces. Muslims don't go around judging and labeling people. Muslims don't go around hurling abuse at people. Muslims don't go around swearing and using foul language. Muslims don't do that. Many brothers come to masjid to pray 5 times a day, but they go outside and you see the abusive language that they use when they're pushed, when something bad happens to them. Even a road rage leads them to lose everything. Lose their iman, lose their faith, lose everything. Vulgarity, obscenity comes out of their mouth. A few days ago, I came out of my street. A man came, he cut me off. I stopped. At the next traffic light, I was next to him. He looked at me and I looked at him and he recognized me. He knew I was the Imam. He couldn't even look at me. He just couldn't look at me. He just drove off. He was embarrassed for the way he behaved. That's what happens to you when you're abusive to other people. You can't face them next time. You've lost a bit of you. You've lost a bit of self-dignity and honor. Rasulullah said, when you lose self-respect, you can do anything you like. When you lose self-respect, you can do anything you like. My brothers and sisters, hypocrisy is a major sickness. But this major sickness is in me, in us, in ourselves, not in other people. We need to judge ourselves by them. Yes, I disagree with what America does. I disagree with what Britain does when it comes to their foreign policy and unethical standards. I condemn what's going on around the world when it comes to Palestinian and their land being occupied. I condemn how Syrian butcher Bashar al-Assad has been welcomed by the Arab World League. I condemn those North African dictators. I condemn the dictators and the military generals of Pakistan or Bangladesh or Sudan. I condemn them. They have double standard and hypocrisy. But my brothers and sisters, my rant is over now. My rant is over. Do I condemn my hypocritical behavior often enough? Do I look at myself and see how bad I am when it comes to my own characteristics? No, I don't. It's easy to condemn somebody else. It's easy to rant and rage about everybody else. It's difficult to take account of yourself. That's why I quoted Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu earlier on. He said, "Hasibu qabla an tuhasabu." Account for yourself before you're accounted for it. Account yourself before you're accounted for it, my brothers and sisters. Let me ask myself, do I speak? When I speak, do I lie? When I make promises, do I keep my promises or do I violate them? When I make covenants, do I act treacherously or do I act trustworthily? And when I speak, when I dispute with people, when I disagree with people, do I become explosive? Do I become abusive? Do I become foolish and irrational? If any of those apply, then there is a sign of hypocrisy in myself, and I have to do everything possible to rid them from my life. And if they all apply, then I'm afraid I have to do more, and I have to do more tawbah, and I have to rid all of them, otherwise I'll be termed as a hypocrite. My brothers and sisters, I'd like to finish here with these words, but these words are for myself more than anybody else's. No matter who you are, you could be the biggest alim of the world, you could be the most powerful man on the face of this earth. If they are in you, there is a problem. On the day of judgment, you'll be stuck. On the day of judgment, Allah's judgment will be fair. Allah's judgment will be fair. Allah's judgment will be fair. And His judgment will be prevailing and absolute. You will have no say over it. While we have a time, let's account ourselves. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, Ya Akramul Akramin, forgive us, Ya Allah. Forgive us, Ya Allah. Forgive us, Ya Allah. Remove all the signs of hypocrisy from us, Ya Allah. Remove all the signs of hypocrisy from us, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, make us a people who are truthful, Ya Allah. Make us a people who are those who keep their promises and not violate them, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, make us a people who are trustworthy and not treacherous, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, make us a people, even if we dispute, but we remain calm and mannered, Ya Arhamur Rahimin. Ya Akramul Akramin, enable us so that we can control our anger, Ya Allah. Enable us so that we can control our tongue, Ya Allah. Enable us so that we can be best of behavior, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, we can have the best of manners, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, Ya Akramul Akramin, protect us, Ya Allah. Protect us, Ya Allah. Protect us from the whispers of shaitan, Ya Allah. Protect us from the evil of ourselves, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, Ya Akramul Akramin. On this blessed day of Jum'ah, we ask you to free Al-Aqsa from occupation, Ya Allah. We ask you to free Al-Aqsa from occupation, Ya Allah. We ask you to free Al-Aqsa from occupation, Ya Allah. We ask you to free Yemen from the war, Ya Allah. We ask you to remove the tyrants from their power, Ya Allah. We ask you to remove the army generals from their powers, Ya Allah. We ask you to restore peace and stability in this earth, Ya Allah. We ask you to restore peace and stability on this earth, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, we ask you to guide the people of this world to your deen, Ya Allah. We ask you to return our brothers and sisters who may have left your deen. Return them to Islam, Ya Allah. Return them to Islam, Ya Allah. And protect our children, Ya Allah. Make our children the best of ambassadors, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, keep our children in Islam, Ya Allah. Keep our families in Islam, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, Ya Akramul Akramin, remove illnesses from us, Ya Allah. Remove illnesses from us, Ya Allah. Remove troubles and turmoils from our lives, Ya Allah. Ya Arhamur Rahimin, those of us who have lost our loved ones, have mercy on their souls, Ya Allah. Grant them peace, Ya Allah. Grant them highest of paradise, Ya Allah. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون فاذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون والله يعلم ما تصنعون. أقم الصلاة. My brothers and sisters, while you're standing up and making the line straight, come to the front and fill up the front rows first, please. I've got a few announcements as you're making the line straight. Our Masjid's Eid Fair, inshallah, is going to be on the 9th of July here in this masjid. We need volunteers and we need food donation. If you are interested, please speak to Brother Tariq or any of the management, inshallah. Qurbani, you still can arrange for your Qurbani through the masjid, inshallah. Please speak to the office. There is a Hajj seminar happening tomorrow. Register using Eventbrite, details on the website. Many people have asked for dua. I've got so many here. Khadija Kaka very unwell. Brother Rafi has passed away. A young adult had an appendix. So may Allah accept our dua, may Allah relieve our illness and give us shifa, and may Allah have mercy on those who have passed away. Thank you very much. Please make the line straight and leave your gaps.
Just a correction, the Hajj announcement was meant to be for last week. It already took place. The recordings will be uploaded for those who